one. In my sheets, tying myself up in knots.
All right, I'll do a clappy clap.
Clap.
Hannah and the Engineers are a new Los Angeles-based band that we signed to A-List Records. They do what I like to call ambient pop. It's this kind of combination of rock and electronica and some retro, 80s new wave and some singer-songwriter. They are extremely unique.
I would describe our sound as alt pop, we're electro pop.
Definitely a form of pop music, but it's not like a polished pop music.
We use a little bit of a hybrid of old school world and the new school world.
It's just adventurous, I guess. We just want to make things that we find interesting.
I never knew how good life should be, then I met you. Hannah and the Engineers actually started as a live band. I had been performing solo as a singer-songwriter in various coffee houses and open mics, and I really wanted to add some excitement and some collaboration. So Lucas and Steve and I got together and we started jamming on some of my tunes, and that's how it all began.
The concept of our group started out as Hannah has her songs, she wanted to create a band, we were jamming, but it just got almost impossible for us to get together.
We halted jamming and got into the studio and started writing some tunes and realized that this is where we belong. With all the tools and soundscapes that we can create, it was a lot more fun than just being a band, though I do love being in bands.
We started to collaborate online and create as two of us in the group of engineers, and Hannah has her own studio to work from. We decided to just make everything electronically. All of a sudden, that opened up this incredible space for us because we were no longer limited to the sounds we could create at that moment.
We've got to clean it up. We trudge right through the mud. We've got to scrub out the trail of lies.
Our musical influences are literally everything. Between the three of us, we listen to every genre.
Growing up, I listened to a lot of Motown and the Beatles and Joni Mitchell as well. I was influenced by Jeff Buckley, and then when I started to write my own music, I really got into Fiona Apple and Regina Spektor and Sia.
I came up in like grunge, and then grunge led to punk, and then punk led to metal, and at the heart of a lot of what I do, I think, is still punk rock. Even in the pop world, I think my approach is a little more punk rock than polished.
What's cool about them is they take all of the kind of standard stuff that you do in a pop song, and they twist it, and they turn it, and they flip it upside down, and they mangle it to make something that's totally unique and new, but is still relatable.
Both Luke and I come from working in studios where we work with old school cats. Back in the day, you had to get the sound right and then you record it. And you record it the way you want it to sound. We kind of have that spirit within us and we say, all right, let's create the sound and then we record it. And this is how we embrace the old school world with the new school tech that's out there for us.
As soon as we mangled something with maybe a compressor, or guitar pedal, or some cool plugins, we would print that back in and commit it and move on. And that's been a huge part of our workflow, is have an idea, trust your instinct, move on to the next thing.
My writing sensibilities are a little bit more organic. When I write a song, oftentimes I'm just sitting down at the piano thinking about the poetry of the lyrics, and I'm just pouring my heart out, focusing on the craft of songwriting. Then when I hand it off to Luke and Steve, they tend to take a really unorthodox approach to the production, and they add interesting sound design elements and electronic elements, and they really take it in a new, fresh direction. I'm told life is fleeting, and tomorrow's not a guarantee. So I gotta begin.
There's a lot of depth to the music because of all of these different experimental things that they do with the drums and the guitars and the keyboards and the vocals too. Every time you listen to the piece of music, you hear something new. And that's very hard to do in today's pop music, which is very two-dimensional usually. So in a world of 2D, they are 3D.